Welcome to a third CrowPi lesson. In this lesson, we'll teach you how to use the relay module. A relay module is basically like a button, but instead of pushing it, we'll use an electronic way to control it. We can send a GPIO out signal to the relay to open it or close it, same like you will use a button, push or release. So how are we going to do it? The relay is controlled by the CrowPi. Inside the CrowPi, it's connected to V5 and GND. And then there is also the GPIO 40 pin, which we will control. You don't need to worry about 5 volt or ground pin, only about the GPIO 40. Using the GPIO 40, we can open the relay and close it, with GPIO high and GPIO low. But also to control something, for example LEDs or modules or sensors, you will need to connect it into the relay. In our lessons, we're going to use a fan. We're going to turn on the fan and turn it off using the relay. So how are we going to do it? We'll connect it to the relay pin. The relay has 3 pins, NC, NO, and COM. We're going to connect it to the COM pin, the fan to the CON pin, and the other side of the fan, which is the GND, directly to the GND pin. The NO pin, we're going to connect the 5 volt pin inside the CrowPi. You might ask, where are the 5 volt and the ground pins? We're going to show it inside the CrowPi board. So we're back to the board. Let's take a look at our sensors and how we're going to use them. As you can see, we have the fan right here. The fan is connected to a ground and 5 volt pin. We're going to connect it right here. We have some spare connections that we can use. If you look closely, you might see that it's mentioned either it's VCC, which is 5 volt, either it's GND, which is ground, connected to the right place. But there is one trick. The 5 volt doesn't go directly to the pin. It passes through the relay. If you will look closely, it's connected right in the middle, in the NO pin. So we connect the 5 volt through the NO pin, and then the 5 volt go out through the COM pin to the 5 volt output of the CrowPi. The 5 volt always goes through here, circulate, but it doesn't reach the motor unless the relay opens up. And the only way to open it up is through our Python program. So when we will open the relay, it will close the circuit with the GND and the 5 volt, and it will turn on the fan. Let's go into our code and see how it works. To go into our code, we will open the CrowPi folder. We'll search for relay file, like here relay.py, and open it using the IDE. Inside the IDE, we'll go line by line and see how it works. As we mentioned earlier, we first import the GPIO library and the time library. And then we configure the relay pin. Our relay pin is GPIO 40 pin. The important thing is that we don't configure the fan or anything else, as it's not necessary. The fan is connected directly to the relay, so when the relay opens up, the fan will turn on. There is nothing need to be configured on the fan side. After configuring the relay pin, we'll go down and set the GPIO mode to GPIO board. As a reminder, we always use GPIO board in our lesson as a good practice. There is another mode which is GPIO BCM, which we don't use in our lessons. Then we set up the relay pin as GPIO out. As the relay doesn't get any input like a button, but instead it releases output, opening the relay or closing it. So we set it up as GPIO out. Then, to open the relay, we set the GPIO to low. As we said, some modules in the CrowPi are the opposite due to the complex of the CrowPi board, the complexity. So, we set the relay pin and then we set it to GPIO low to open the relay. Then we'll sleep for 1 second. And then we'll close the relay using GPIO high. Afterwards, we'll clean up the board to use our pins again. Let's see how the code works. We'll click the green button to execute it. If you're using a fan, make sure to pick it up so it will not touch the bird and hurt the CrowPi. We'll hold it like this and execute the button and see what happens. As you can see, the relay have little LED and it makes some small noise when it opens up. Then the fan will turn on and it will work. Let's try it again. As you can see, it's working just perfectly fine. You can modify the code, set different time frequency, or maybe connect it to other sensors to see what happened. We hope to see what you're gonna do with this project next time. See you in our next lesson.